Hi, my name is Michelle ALVA, and I'm your Mindset Energy Coach. And I'm going to give you 3 tips today on how to overcome the fear of intimacy. Are you struggling to connect in relationships and go deeper? Do you feel like you build a wall up around you? And maybe you're not even in touch with what you're really feeling. Or do you get easily triggered and then you just want to run in the opposite direction? Is it difficult for you to navigate through your triggers? Step 1 for overcoming fear of intimacy is to have a willingness to feel whatever arises. And so instead of leaving, instead of avoiding, you're actually deciding in that moment to stay with whatever arises. I used to have such a hard time sitting to meditate. I would get restless and just want to go, and had a really hard time just being with myself. And it was because I wasn't wanting to feel what was inside me. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of people struggle with meditation. But a way for us to love ourselves more is to show up and to make the time, carve out the time. You can actually carve out 5 minutes of feel time in your schedule when you wake up in the morning and just feel what's there. And practice noticing the sensations in your body. Notice the emotions that come up. What's the things that are dwelling in your mind that you're still thinking about? Is it an ex? Is it somebody at work? Is there a conflict going on that's dwelling in your mind and you're avoiding and running and going so that you don't address that? Because you're preserving yourself, you're keeping yourself safe by avoiding it. So that's step 1, to feel. Step 2 is to have a willingness to go to the unknown and be in this place where you don't really know what's gonna happen, but you're saying, I'm gonna do it. I have no idea what this intimacy and vulnerability thing is gonna be like, but I'm just gonna choose to stay and feel it and be comfortable with whatever it is that arises. And so do you avoid the unknown in your life, in other areas of your life? Do you like to control everything and plan it out and make a schedule and have this knowing of what you can have for the day? You know, a lot of us, we don't know what's really gonna happen, but we create these control environments where plan this, but what happens is we're not allowing for the spontaneous flow to happen. And so yes, there's something about having a routine and having a schedule, but then being able to let go of that routine and going with the flow. So being in the unknown helps us to strengthen this balance between the feminine and the masculine. And the third tip that I have to share with you to overcoming fear of intimacy is, are you ready for this one? Drum roll, please. Practicing being comfortable with the uncomfortable. Practice being comfortable, feeling uncomfortable. And so what happens a lot is we start to feel uncomfortable, something happens, we feel this trigger inside, we feel these emotions, and then we just shut down. We protect ourselves a lot of times by avoiding feeling. And so we have to have a lot of compassion for ourselves. That would be another tip. And accept wherever we are, and then just say, I'm comfortable being open. I'm deciding to be comfortable with this uncomfortableness, and start to cultivate this practice of staying with yourself by putting your hand over your chest and letting yourself sit with yourself and be with those uncomfortable sensations. So for example, if you binge eat, or if you want to begin to let go of an addiction, like smoking, sex addiction, porn addiction, maybe you tend to overschedule yourself. And so putting your hand on your chest and taking a deep breath and coming back to yourself. And being curious, what is this that I'm feeling here? What are these discomforts, these uncomfortable sensations offering me in this moment? And so sometimes, for example, we have death of a loved one and we're grieving and we don't feel comfortable You might be watching a movie with friends, or you're at an event and you feel like it reminds you of your parents, and then you start to cry. And then you shut down the tears and you stop your emotions because you feel uncomfortable with emoting in that present moment. And so what if it were okay for you to feel uncomfortable? What if it's okay to not know what's going to happen next? And what if just you deciding to stay with yourself, no matter what arises, is the way to freedom, lightness, ease, more love flowing through your body? And so love is acceptance. Love is compassion. And when we allow ourselves to feel everything, we're vulnerable. And so if you're a person that has been shameful of things that have happened to you, maybe you feel guilty on some level about what's happened to you, maybe you had sexual trauma, maybe you fear abandonment, maybe you have had your parents leave you and you felt neglected. Maybe all of those. I had sexual trauma when I was 14. My dad left when I was 12, and he never gave my mom any alimony or child support, and she had to work 3 jobs to pay for her 3 kids. And I felt embarrassed, ashamed. These aren't really things that I was aware of as a child, but from the sexual trauma, I had a lot of shame. And so I literally felt like I was living, hiding my whole life. And I couldn't really show my true self because I left myself. I abandoned myself many, many years ago, and I dissociated to cope with the pain. And so another technique I learned from a friend is to just soothe yourself, comfort yourself. You can also hug a pillow and pretend that that's you, or just hug yourself. And so this holding of yourself, this putting your hand on yourself, even just, it's okay to feel like shit. It's okay to feel like everything is falling apart. And then maybe the first step would be to feel that, to feel it's not okay, to feel the judgment that you have about yourself, telling yourself, no, it's not okay, actually. You might be watching this and be like, it's not okay that I want to hurt myself, that I want to hurt people. It's not okay. And so having that compassion to just feel what's there. This is so important, to decide that you're going to be present to whatever that is that arises. So remember, to recap, 3 tips on how to overcome fear of intimacy. Number 1, feel everything. Be willing, be open. I'm open to feeling whatever arises in me. I am free to feel whatever is coming up in my body. Whatever these triggers are, whatever these emotions are, they're actually coming up because they're coming out. And so commit, make that decision. And if you're like, yeah, I have a hard time with commitment, I was there. And it's actually so much easier when you just start to say, I'm open to being committed now. You can write this down. And remember, you can reach out to me and I can give you lots of awesome strategies on how to navigate through healing shame, healing guilt, healing fear of intimacy. Into me, see. When you're not able to look into someone's eyes when you're making love, it's not because of that person. We can only give to others the presence that we offer ourselves. And so I was attracting unavailable men after my divorce, especially. I was with someone for 20 years of my life, and I really feel that I was dissociated my whole life on a very deep core wounded level, because I was carrying around so much fear of abandonment. I don't really think I could ever trust myself. I couldn't trust, I let someone take advantage of me when I was 14. So the trust was broken. And then my father leaving, my first love of my life, my dad, it just really made me feel, I allowed myself to feel like, what's wrong with you, Michelle? He left, he doesn't keep in touch, he's not sending money. You're not worth it. You're not lovable. You're not worthy of being prioritized by your dad. What does that mean about you? And so these are the things that I told myself. And it was so hurtful, and I did this to myself. Instead, I could have said, if I was Mother Teresa or the Dalai Lama back then, or Louise Hay, right? Wow, your dad must be really disconnected. He must have really abandoned himself a long time ago to be able to do that to you and your siblings and your mom. Wow, your dad, he must not really be considerate of himself because he was not considerate of you all. He must have really abandoned himself. If I was the enlightened child at age 14, at age 12, that knew all the things I know today, I wouldn't have taken it personally. I would have been like, everything's always perfect. That's the best my dad can do. And I get to father myself. And I would have read up on all the wonderful things that I could do to embrace my masculine energy and feel that I am the protector, the provider for myself. And have so much compassion for my mom. My mom worked 3 jobs. She was cranky all the time. She took out all her angers on me. I was the one that was the most there, and my younger brother. And I didn't have compassion for my mother either. I used to just think, what a bitch. Why is she always in a bad mood? And in reality, she was so scared because she was working 3 jobs. She was like, how am I going to be able to put my kids through Catholic school? She thought that was like the greatest thing to accomplish for us. And she struggled a lot because she had to figure it out. So she wasn't really loving me from a place of empowerment and abundance. It was more about, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? And so my ass was so tight. I was such a tight ass. There was so much fear in my root chakra. There was so much tension in my sexual organs. I developed chronic pain in my pelvis. 14 years old to 28 years old. The first chakras of my body were not feeling safe. And you wonder why it was hard for me to meditate and sit on my ass and breathe and be with myself, right? Just had to do a breathing into my butt right now. And so I have so much compassion for you if you have a hard time sitting to meditate, sitting in general, and just feeling yourself. And I want you to know I've been through a lot. And there's so much light on the other side of it. And it's so okay to feel all of it. I'm feeling all of it. And there's still stuff I'm sure that I'm holding in my butt, in my root, from that time. And that's why I get to clear these emotions, even as I'm making this video. And so what I stand for is full transparency, full availability, and availability to the unavailability, and loving those parts of you that want to run and avoid. So many of us are doing that on the planet. So you can't really feel safe with people when you're not really connected. And so my clients always tell me, I feel so safe with you. I feel like I can open up with you because I feel safe with myself, because I've stayed with myself through the hardest times. And not initially. I checked out most of my life. I'm 47 now. But definitely in these last 5 to 6 years, and especially this past year since COVID time, I've been sitting and I've been laying and I've been massaging myself and loving my butt, loving my tight ass, and loving this tension that I had for so many years because I was a scared little girl that didn't feel safe because her dad left. But you know what? That's just a story. I'm not gonna let my father rule my life for my whole freaking life. And so I'm so grateful for all the amazing teachers that I've had, like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Bruce Lipton, Kevin Walton in Creatorhood, Louise Hay, Greg Braden, these amazing teachers that I have studied with, that I have read their books and studied and embodied what their teachings are, and been inspired from my background as a physical therapist and a tantra practitioner and an NLP practitioner and hypnotist to integrate breathwork, sound, movement, and tension, and all these beautiful self-love rituals so that I can enhance my healing for me. And from that place of connection, people can feel connected because that's how I feel. And so, if anything, focus on yourself. Listen to the beautiful, powerful meditations. They're up here. At the end of the video, just look up here, Powerful Meditations playlist. And if you want to dive deeper and have a one-on-one session with me, you can do it, of course, through Zoom. You could do it in person in South Florida, and also join me for my online programs. The next one coming up is the Self-Love Online Journey, where we're gonna take December 6th to December 27th, this beautiful 4 weeks of deep diving into self-love. If you wanna love your family members more this Christmas, take this class. If you wanna be able to be around whoever and you're still feeling the love and the empowerment, take this class. And if you wanna look in the mirror and love what you see and feel so excited and so creative and so sexy, join me for this class. The details are down below, the Self-Love Online Journey. And you can also click below that link to learn about Intro to Tantra, deeper connection for couples, Yoni healing and sexual empowerment, Release and Heal audio course, Chakras healing audio course. There's many online programs that you just lay there and listen to them, and then you can always schedule a one-on-one session with me. I'm here for you. Or take my 3-month or 9-month ALVA Method practitioner training. It's limitless what you can create, and it doesn't matter your income flow. We can work on that, abundance flow, and we can also create ways for you to work with me and support this movement of empowering people to come back home inside and be a catalyst for the world. And that's what I stand for. So if I can heal all these things that happened to me, you can too. And I'm ready to be there by your side when you're not able to redirect you lovingly and remind you that you're so powerful and that it's okay wherever you are in your journey, that you are love, and it's okay if it's difficult in the beginning. Trust me, it will only get easier. Let me know how this video benefited you. Subscribe to my channel, and if you know somebody that's going through challenges, share this video with them. Like the video and comment anything that came up for you that was uncomfortable. Anything that came up for you in general. I would love to hear. The more we share, the more we heal together. Thank you.